Pros of moderation. Now, how we get there when we scale, that mix of people and tech and resources and small groups, that's kind of the thing that we all have to make decisions on, but we know how it works. And I think that's true for a lot of community work and understanding. Again, if we say things are cyclical, if we say the same problems occur over and over again, it's not necessarily because we don't know how to address those problems. It's because we're all going through these things at different life cycles. It's almost like a big cohort study, right? Because the people who are in year 3 are different from the people who are in year 10, and we all are learning things at a different scale. So, I think we understand a lot of the work we do, and then much of the other stuff sort of comes down to scale and our approach and how far along technology is coming. Because I think the better that we get with things like machine learning or AI or just better software that works better, that is smarter. Like we talked about measurement. A lot of what measurement can and really ideally should be done automatically by your software, right? But platforms haven't necessarily prioritized a smart enough dashboard to look at the things that we need to look at or to be customizable enough to work well for us. And so like how we use technology and software, I think that's getting better. Again, the episode with Bob Sienna with the New York Times. I'm encouraged that he thinks that those tools are getting better and are working well in a lot of cases. I'm also encouraged by the fact that he sees the problems with them and that they're working to correct them, and it's taking humans to correct them. And we're not just throwing this, into the void and hoping it fixes everything. So I think the areas where we're improving are not necessarily our understanding of communities, but I think the tools that we have and how we use our understanding to make those tools better, that's a place where we're getting better. But the last 3 years, figuring things out, having things sorted down, I really think that online community building has a particular format that makes a lot of sense and works pretty well for most people. The real question is how dedicated they are to it. I was talking to someone a while back and it was like, well, here's the thing, like you have a community, you have a few people in it, you have a few posts. Every single post that's made is an opportunity to invite 3 people. Are you doing that? No. Okay, then you're not doing everything you can. You can start a community and get one going if you look at every piece of content as an opportunity to bring in 3 people qualified to speak and respond and answer that content. You just have to be willing to grind and put that work in. And so, yeah, I think, it's not that community is this 100-year-old, community is, right, on some level. That idea of bringing people together exists online, offline. So we've been doing this for a long time. But the online community side of things, I actually think we have fairly well figured out, at least on kind of the small to mid level. And I think where we struggle a lot high profile wise is when we try to apply a community understanding to something that has 1 billion users and we expect them all to be in the same space or similar spaces. I think that's where it gets a little tricky.
Right. Today we've talked about challenges that community professionals face. What are the distinct opportunities that you see in the near future?
I believe that this work won't go away. I believe it's important. And what I mean when I say that is that social media management as a profession, and I'm talking about this for a while, but the people have heard it on the show that have listened, but social media management as a profession sort of exploded, right? There were social media managers everywhere. Community managers, while it was a trendy role, it didn't have the same explosion when it came to sort of the number of roles and number of job postings. Social media manager, there was way more of that. There was way more noise around that for a while. But to me, that's more of a tool thing and less a strategy thing. So to me, community is not a tool thing. It's a strategy that you apply to tools, where a lot of other roles are going to apply strategies to social media. Marketing applies a strategy to social media. HR applies a strategy to social media for hiring. Customer service has theirs. Biz dev has theirs. Product and tech have theirs. So to me, social media and communication online is a bit like answering the telephone. And we all do that differently and have a strategy in how we maximize that. And so I believe that the idea of community strategy being tool agnostic is important because I think, number one, it's a worthwhile skill set that I think translates well long term. But number two, it doesn't pigeonhole into something that will go away. And so I do think there's a lot of opportunities there as things continue to shift in that direction and as these online tools grow, because more and more there is sort of this pendulum swing of things going back and forth where we have good times and bad times. So, again, we talk about Facebook and Twitter. So a lot of people went that way instead of investing in an online community or a hosted community. And I had Jason Falls on the show, like I talked about recently. And one of the things he said that was funny on the show was that, if he could go back 10 years, 15 years and say to people, you should start an online community that you host. You're going to talk about your industry. You're going to talk about the work you do. Go ahead and do it, because 15 years from now, you're going to have so much search traffic from that community and conversations that lasted 10 years, 15 years that people are still coming back to, that you were going to dominate voice share in that niche.